I ran the ball 1,206 times to answer one question. Can we scientifically find the best running play in college football 25? By the end of this video, when it comes to that question, you're going to know the good news, the bad news, and how you might actually be able to help answer that question in our very first ever public experiment. So let's start with the good news. I was able to find some differences in how well certain run plays performed and in how well certain formations performed. First, from a formation point of view, I did have slightly more success out of single back than I did out of other formations. And not only that, but we did see some variation in the type of run play as well. The average yards per carry was a lot better when I was running traps, zones, and ISO concepts than how I was doing with counters, tosses, and draws. However, I am kind of breezing through these results right here without even telling you how I got them, because unfortunately the results are meaningless. And that brings me to the bad news. While we were able to find differences in the average yards per carry based off certain run plays and certain formations and certain combinations of the two, these differences were not actually big enough to make any sort of meaningful statistical conclusions. And in order to understand what I mean by that, we need to talk about coin flips. Let's say that I came to you with a penny that was as big as my entire face, and I swore to you that I built this thing specifically to land on heads more often than it landed on tails. Now, before I even flip that coin once, you probably have a default opinion in your mind. And that is, first of all, I'm crazy. And second of all, if this penny is really just like every other penny, it's gonna land on heads 50% of the time. So let's say that I flip it twice and it lands on heads both times. Is that enough evidence for you to look at me and my massive penny and go, okay, Max, fine, you built this thing, it really does land on heads more than it does on tails? Probably not. You probably don't think that's enough evidence because I only flipped the thing 2 times. So yes, I may have got extreme results because I got heads 100% of the time, but that wasn't enough data points for you to really believe me. The same could be said if we had the exact opposite situation. If I flipped that coin 1,000 times in front of you and it got heads 50.1% of the time, that's not an extreme enough example for you to really be like, okay, Max, fine, it's a good penny. In that case, we have plenty of available data, but we don't have extreme enough results with that data. And that is the problem that we are running into with this run experiment. No pun intended. Sure, we may see that on average, my inside zone plays were about a yard more effective than my draw plays. However, the results are not statistically significant enough for us to confidently say that that's the true answer. It's reasonable to say that that yard difference was really just by pure chance. Now, we could dive deeper into the statistics behind this, what a p-value is, and how it was used in this experiment, but this is not a stats channel, this is a College Football 25 channel. So instead, I'd like to ask for your help to solve this experiment. Like I mentioned earlier with the inside zone and the draw play, the results were not statistically significant because either A, the difference between those two wasn't extreme enough, like maybe the true difference is 3 yards and not 1 yard, or B, we just didn't have enough data points to showcase that difference. And sure, I may have ran the ball 1,206 times in order to try and find these differences, but imagine what happens if you break down those 1,200 run plays by the 4 or 5 different formations and the 8 or 9 different run types. I mean, I only ran a dive concept 23 times, so how many times did I run the dive out of single back? Like maybe 4 or 5 times? So here is my ask to you. If you want to know what formations are best for running the ball and what specific run concepts work best, you are actually able to help me gather that data. And the best part is, I think your contribution can actually make a massive difference here. The last Sciencey video we did got about 10,000 views. Now, if the same amount of people see this video and only 1% decides to help out with this, we will get over 3,000 more plays to analyze in addition to the 1,200 that we already got from me. So if you want to help out with what I think is the first ever public experiment for College Football 25, here's how to do it. First, go over to the description of this video and I've linked a quick Google form that we are going to use to collect everybody's data. All of this is going to take place in practice mode, and within it we're going to get the best results if you select a random offensive team to user and a random defensive team to go against. It's critical that both the offense and the defense are random and you use whatever playbook is associated with those two teams. I know it's annoying, but it'll really help our results here. After that, all you got to do is run 25 random run plays against 25 random defensive plays and then just write down the formation, play type, and yards gained after each play in that form. Now, I hate to be the guy asking for help and then being picky, but please, please, please try to make sure that you're selecting a random run and selecting a random general play on defense. Like not a random 4-3 play or a random 3-4 play, but just a random defensive play. Hopefully editor version of me is putting nice pretty examples on the screen as I'm talking too. Now I will say the more data the better, so if you get done with this and you're like, hey, I gotta do more than 25 plays, you can fill out the form twice, 3 times, as many times as you want and just keep on rolling through with random teams. Now I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea if this is going to work, but I really think it's worth a shot. If we are able to pull this off, we will 100% be making history as the first ever successful crowdsourced experiment for a football video game. And I know that's the most niche award ever, but like, we can do it. So thanks for watching. If you plan on helping, thank you so much in advance for that help. And regardless of if you're helping or not, if you want to see the results of this crowdsourced experiment, come back in like a week or so and I will do my best to update everybody. Until then, thanks for watching. Peace out.